Yeah, hello. I'm Dragonc0. I play Cave Noire. So yeah, this is Cave Noire. It's a task-based dungeon exploration game. So you have to complete some tasks and complete all the dungeons, so to speak. We're gonna make a new file and then we're ready to go. We had a donation incentive, but there's a tie, so I'm just gonna pick the boy then. Yeah, as you can see, there are 4 dungeons here. We have to clear all quests 1 through 6. That's the category we're running today. So we're gonna go ahead and do a countdown to start, and then we're gonna go in and I'll explain what we're doing. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, there are 4 caves with each have a different kind of task, and we get some items which we're gonna use. So yeah, the first task we have, the first cave, is beat monsters. So in this case, the first level of monsters requires us to beat 3 monsters. So it's a turn-based system. Enemies move when you move, and vice versa. So in this case, it becomes really cool to do movement in this game. It's really direct. Don't have to wait long. Oh no. I didn't realize I was on a trap tile. That's unfortunate. Well, luckily it's the first level, so it doesn't really matter to die there. It's just a small time loss. But yeah. As you saw, I used a fire item, which allows us to kill enemies really quickly. It does a lot of damage. Let's try that again. So as you can see in this room, there's no direct exit. There's also hidden walls you can break. So once you get close to them, they will show up as an exclamation mark, so you can bump into them and open them up. So you have to look for that. I'm gonna heal up just to make sure I don't die again, because that would be unfortunate. So after you complete the task, there's gonna be a exit spawning somewhere on the current floor, and you can find it and get out, and then continue onwards to the next stage. At the end, it shows like a cool overview of all the monsters that you have killed, but we don't need it, so we're just gonna continue on. So the items you get at the start are random. Can be one of you get 4 items, but you can get a possibility of 5 items. You always get a healing potion. The other 4 are random. So at the start, it's basically kill everything. So you don't have to worry too much about saving your health. So I know in this chest is the missing 5th item from the start, so I really want to get that, because that's the fire power up, which allows me to kill the last bat here and get a floor 1 clear, which is really nice. So as you progress through the stages, the count is going up for how many enemies you have to kill in this stage. And after stage 3, you'll get some harder monsters are gonna be thrown earlier in the floors. So you might see them popping up earlier. But yeah, with how the movement works, it's a really fast game. Very area heavy, so you have to be really careful to not fall in the lava, for example, because that's a one-hit KO. So it's really important to keep moving correctly and all. I'm gonna check the other room for extra enemies. Looks like I can get a floor 2 clear here, which would be really nice. Ah, that's a 2-hit. So damage is random to a certain degree, just the range you can hit. Flames are the easiest enemies in the game, so I usually want to go for those. So from like floor 3 onwards, I'll probably start being more careful with which enemies I'm gonna attack. Because the pets that we see that are usually on the earliest floors are probably one of the toughest enemies. They deal the most damage because you don't deal a lot of damage to them. They have very high defense, so it's usually a 3 or a 4 turn to kill them. Which is also why I'm using the fire on those a lot. I'm gonna use an antidote here that I got from the start to cure that poison. So there are certain enemies that can cause effects. That's a really good power up I got, by the way. That's a defense up. So if I find some of the harder hit enemies, I can just use that to make sure I take way less damage than I want. I'm gonna skip those orbs for now because they are useless in this category, or at least in this cave. I don't want to fight you. It's a really strong enemy, and I didn't see the cracked floor. So yeah, the rooms are not. The rooms are taken from a set, so you usually see the same rooms pop up over the run. I don't want to fight you. So you can sort of get a feeling for which rooms are gonna be where the breakable walls are and where cracked floors are gonna spawn up. So yeah, stage 4. In stage 4 we need to kill 10 enemies, is it? Yeah, it's 10 enemies. I'm missing. So yeah, the question mark pops up also on diagonals with the walls, so I don't have the fireball yet. It's in this chest. So there's also power-ups you can get in this cave. There are items that can increase your damage and increase your defense. I do not want to fight the skeleton. I'm deciding to fight the last one first in case I get poisoned and I get a free recovery. If it happens, so I can just disengage and drop an antidote. Floor 3. I'm gonna explore first, because on floor 3 there's a sword upgrade, so I'm gonna look for that. So hopefully it's not in the chest that we spawned in, and hopefully it's right here. It's a fireball, that's good. These are usually a 2-hit kill, so I usually just fight them immediately. But I can get unlucky and get a low roll that will take an extra hit. I don't need an extra antidote. Here we go, that's the sword upgrades. We also have a map. So I'm gonna leave this floor. There's also, you see that in floor 4s, in at least this stage, there's dark rooms. So yeah, dark rooms are really annoying. They have like a fog of war effect. I have a sword, I can deal with this. Yeah, that's a 2-hit now. Ah, I didn't kill that. I'm gonna drop a heal, just to be safe. So yeah, there's a lot of power-ups. I'm not gonna go through all of them. I'm gonna just mention them when I use them and explain their effects. I still need 2 kills, but I have fireball, so I can kill this enemy, which I normally would not fight. This is bad. I still have a cloak. So there's also a cloak item, which allows you to become invisible. And I picked up some boulders. So I can... Oh, here it is. So I can use boulders to either fill in holes, which I did right there, or put up a boulder in a pathway so it becomes an unpassable tile, which can be used to block enemies or just in other ways manipulate enemies. So I'm missing a fireball, so I'm gonna have to grab the chest in the first floor. I'm opting to skip the bed at this point, because this is a 12 kill floor, so I want to avoid few enemies and wait until I get like the upgrades. So let's look for a sword here and then we start killing everything. I do not want to fight you. I do want to power up though. Okay, that's a luck upgrade. It increases luck. I'm not really sure what it does. Probably increases the crit chance, maybe. Here we go, here we have the sword. So now we can fight the ghosts. That's a nice crit. I really like that one. Okay, so there's still an ant I can kill in this room. Oh, he spawns right in the doorway. Okay, 2 damage. That's fine. So holes are pretty interesting, and oh yeah. So with this fog of war, there are enemies that you can use to clear up the fog of war, or like spawn fog of war. I'm gonna grab the shield first. So as you saw in the previous room, I killed a fire enemy, which cleared off all the fog of war in the room. I'm gonna use an antidote to make sure I don't lose all my health. And there's also a zombie enemy that spawns fog of war. So yeah, with movement, it's instantaneous. You can also choose to not move with the B button. So that's what I did to make the enemies move towards me. Cannot fight that. That's a really good power up. Not really for this stage, but in general it's pretty good. It spawns a staircase to go to the next level, to the next floor. I'm gonna heal to be safe. Still need 3 enemies, so after this room I need to find 1 more enemy. And I have a fireball power up, so I can just instantly kill it when I find it. That's pretty nice. I don't need that anymore. Just gonna kill one of these and look for the stairs, for the portal. Here it is. So that's a pretty good monsters cave. It's 11 minutes 30 seconds for me. So after each cave, when you do 1 through 6, you get like a medal. And once you get all the medals, then you finish the first part of the game. Because there's also a post-game section with like harder dungeons. So now we're on to the second cave. The second cave has a different goal. The goal is to get gold. I'm gonna use a cloak here. So in the first stage we have to get 2 golden coins. And sometimes coins can give multiple coins. Once you get further in the dungeons, the coins get worth more. But it also becomes harder, of course. So that's what this cave is all about. So useful items to have is the cloak for this case. The fireball is way less useful. It can be used to kill enemies again, but you generally just want to avoid fighting them. And the first floor almost always has a coin. I'm gonna take a hit here. And then it's basically random. Why did I pick it up? I don't know. So especially in this cave system, there's gonna be a lot of hidden walls that I'm gonna look for. It's not here. It's here. Because I want to explore the early floors pretty much completely, as far as I can do in a pretty fast time. Because the later floors have a lot of dark rooms in this cave system, which are really annoying to traverse and looking for coins. It makes the margin of error really big, because you can only see 1 tile away from you in the fog of war. No. Not too worried about damage here, because I don't have to engage a lot of enemies. I do take an extra power up though. 3 damage, that's okay. So those death enemies, they move when you get into line of sight with them, vertical or horizontally, as you can see there. I'll take that. I'm missing a hidden wall. I'm gonna have to kill this. Here we go. I'm getting low on health because I ran into a lot of enemies here. I'm gonna heal before going down. Is the only room? Looks like it, no hidden walls. That's unfortunate. Ooh, that's a random coin. Coin from a chest is random. So you also have a candle power up to use to clear the room. I'm gonna use it there to make sure I'm not missing the portal. How do you know there are hidden walls? Usually you get a feel for the room when you know the rooms. When you play a lot, you know which rooms can have hidden walls. But also if you walk near the wall, you'll get an exclamation mark when you get close to the wall. That will tell you that there's something here, you should check the wall. So in the first floor is almost always like 2 rooms, so I'm not gonna look for hidden walls here, but from floor 2 onwards, I'm gonna make sure to keep that in mind. That's annoying. I'm gonna go out of my way, especially in this cave system, to look for hidden walls, because extra coins on the earlier floors are really helpful to make sure I don't have to go too deep into the dungeons. I'm gonna leave and re-enter to make him move away. I'm not going further in there. There's a skeleton there, and he's gonna be really annoying to deal with. Double, that's good. Alright. I'll take that. That's something I do not want to fight. Okay. Just need to find one more coin. Well, not in here. I'm gonna go to the other side. I don't wanna deal with the skeleton there. This is fine. So there's also the portal tiles, which take you to a room in the dungeon which is linked to it. Don't need sword. So as you can see, it pulls up a question mark when I walked near that wall, which indicates there's a breakable wall there. There we go. I'm gonna go to the next floor because I don't want to look for the door in a fog of war. And I know the next room, the next floor, floor 5, is a small room with like 2 rooms, so I know that I can go there and get an easy finish instead of having to go back through all the rooms that I just passed. So yeah, the coins are pretty RNG heavy, so usually I want to get done on floor 5 or like around there, but sometimes you can just be sent really deep into the dungeon. I've had coin stages where I had to go through to like floor 12, I think. And especially in the post-game dungeons, the requirements just go up and up. So like the last coin dungeon requires 99 coins, so that's a lot of coins. So you're gonna have to go through a lot of floors. Okay, staircase is over here. No hidden walls. I think there might be another hidden wall usually. Oh yeah, I had the portal. I'm gonna check this room and then see that there's no coin. I'm gonna assume there are no hidden walls anymore. Doesn't look like any of the rooms would have him, but they can. So I might be missing out, but I'm willing to take that risk. I don't want to explore too much just without any points. I don't need a sword. I am gonna take the shield to play it safe. That's a really nice item to have. So I just got the flying power up, which is really useful. It allows you to fly to a random, not a random, just you can choose where to move in the room. So you can pick a tile where to move to. That's a good one. I'm gonna use a fire on this mimic because it can drop a coin sometimes. So there's also those hidden and those walkable fake pits. I don't want to go back because fog of war. Okay, this is easier to deal with. I want to see what's in there. I luck upgrades, that's nice. Okay, let's go further. I would love to finish up. Ah, 1 coin short. That's lame. Would love to finish up on this floor. I need to use something. So this is the flying power up. I can just pick where I want to go. Make sure that skeleton is not in my way. Skeleton knight. So the thing with the coin dungeon is that every other floor is a dark room. So that's a small dark room actually. Gonna get the shield upgrade. So there's also upgrades of the weapons that you find whenever you go deeper into the dungeon. Okay. We still have a candle, no. So now I have the upgraded sword, which allows me to one-shot a lot of enemies. I'm gonna go to the next floor. I believe this should be... No, it's not. Not a non-fog of war. I'm grabbing movement. Sometimes it's getting a little bit laggy when you get further down in dungeons, further into the game. It can cause you to miss inputs. Is he gonna kill me? No. Luckily I have the shield. I need to heal in case I get another hit by something. Okay, here it is. There we go. So yeah, I had to go to floor 12 to just finish the dungeon. Even though I could have finished it on floor 11, I guess, but... In this case, sometimes you just have to go deep. And we're still not done yet, because we still have one more stage left to get 25 coins. So we still have to go in one more time before we can move on to the next cave. I'm grabbing the antidotes to play it safe. What? I need to kill you. So I tried to teleport back, but I couldn't because the skeleton in the other room decided to move on top of the teleporter. So I couldn't move back and I died. So yeah, that's really unfortunate. But luckily it was at the start of the cave, so it doesn't really lose that much time in this case, luckily. But yeah, stuff like that can just happen and there's not much you can do about it. Gonna get the antidote again. Move on. Okay. There's probably also a hidden wall on the other side. Because usually they spawn up in pairs. Some of the rooms just... just half them. That's annoying. I'm gonna kill you and grab the coin. I can just dance with the other one. Get along. Checking for any hidden walls, because I really want to get the most value out of these first dungeons, first floors. I'm willing to fight this for the coin, honestly. Because the Mimic can also drop a coin, so maybe I'll get lucky and get 2 coins. Nope. Walking past the bottom wall. Drop rate is not too high, so I'm not gonna go out of my way to fight them, but if I have to, then I might as well. Ooh, random coin. That's a really good floor actually, lots of coins. So that's gonna help later on, so I don't have to go as deep into the dungeon. I'm gonna pick that up for safety. Yeah, it looks like a small room. Sometimes you just get one tile rooms. And sometimes it's helpful, but sometimes it's just not, because you want to explore rooms. There we go. Okay, so we're upgraded now. I have an upgraded sword and an upgraded shield, so that's nice. Cannot pick that up. So enemies can also drop items, as I said before with the mimics. Drop rates can be different. I'm gonna use the cloak here, because I kind of maneuvered myself in a tough spot. To be fair, those things, you cannot really kill them with your sword, so you have to use a power up to clear them. And they hit really hard, so you don't want to stand in front of them. That's a really good power up. There are some enemies that are guaranteed to drop. I'm gonna do this. That are guaranteed to drop coins, which are one of the toughest enemies in the game. I need to get rid of them. Cool. I have a shield, I should be fine. But they are rare, so... I can cloak this. Yes. Cool. Cloak here, and then we're off. That's a really good floor. 6 for gold. So yeah, at the end of the stage it shows you how many gold you got, which is kind of cool. You can also optimize it by getting less coins, or like more coins, to ensure that you get a faster cutscene. But it doesn't really matter too much. So we're on to the next stage, third cave. The third cave revolves around collecting orbs. You've seen them in the previous cave sometimes when I open a chest and decide to just not pick it up, because that's an orb. So the goal is to collect those orbs. In the first stage you have to collect 1, and it goes on until 6. So they, what the orbs are, they actually allow, if you use them, they will tell you if there is an item on the floor, like if there is a sword or a shield upgrade. It will tell you that, but we don't really use that, we don't need that. But for cave 3, the gimmick is to collect them. To collect 2 of them, 3 of them, etc. So it's actually not random on which floors they spawn, so they spawn on predetermined floors. So I know in this case they spawn on floor 2 and floor 4, so I'm not gonna check anything on floor 3. And just try to get to floor 4 as soon as possible. This is also where the holes are gonna start coming into play. There's no chest there because I see the enemy moved over it. The enemies cannot move through a chest. There it is. So I know that there is no chest there. Okay, it's a good spawn. So I knew I had to go into the other room. But yeah, I'm gonna make use of the holes in the stages if I can't find the stairs to just burn down to go through the floors quickly. So I don't have to look for the stairs if I can find a hole, when I can just skip the floor when I'm done with the floor. I'm like here, I have to go past the end to get to the stairs. So I'm opting to just take four hearts of damage and continue on. I need to open the chest. What am I doing? Obviously I don't have infinite health, so I want to be really careful on which times I do it. You do start with a health potion, so I can use that. And I have a candle to explore. So this is a fog of war room. Looking for the stairs in the fog of war room is really annoying, so I'm willing to just take a hit in my health and skip that. Alright, so this should be the last one. Oh, movement. So yeah, it's a lot of cycle based. Once you come into contact with an enemy, you have to fight it, but if he moves like next to you, then you don't, so you can pass them. So I made a mistake there to get on the wrong cycle with that enemy, so I had to take a hit of him. So movement is a pretty big thing in this game. You have to be really careful. It's really fast, but you can also make mistakes because of that really easily. This is floor 2. I know there's an orb here, so I knew I couldn't take the stairs yet. It's not always the same floors, it changes with each stage. So I knew the previous one didn't have an orb on floor 3, but this one does. However, this one does not have one on floor 4, so I really want to make a book to the stairs. There's nothing here. I'm moving really careful because there could be lava in the room, and lava is a one-hit KO. So I really do not want to walk into the lava and just die. Okay, so the last one is on floor 7, and this is a really good staircase. Really like that. So it is in a dark room. I'm gonna kill the fire to clear up the room. Clear the fog of war. Yeah. Do not want to fight skeletons. I know there's also one on floor 8, and that's not a fog of war room, so I'm opting to just skip that. And take this one instead. There we go. So yeah, sometimes you can just skip one to get another one. Because it's faster, because of that fog of war room, for example. If you just cannot find it and find the stairs, it might be faster, more optimal to just skip that floor and go for the next one. There we go. Oh no, that's awkward. So I missed an orb now, so I have to go further into the further down into the cave to get all my orbs that I need. I'm already taking a lot of damage. I still have to look for an orb. I really do not want to skip 2 of them, because then I don't know where the orbs are. I know the backup one, but further than that I do not know. I have the orb. So let's get out. Might actually pick up a sword to be safe and a shield later on, considering I have to go deeper than normal. So with the orbs, with the later stages, inventory management really becomes a thing, because the orbs just take a spot in your inventory. So So you really want to decide what you want to keep and what you want to use or in other way get rid of in your inventory. That looks bad. Okay. I'm not moving as good as I should. Floor 8. So on floor 8 there is one. Oh, I want to kill you. And then the backup is on floor 10, so I have to go through floor 9, which usually is a small room, yeah. So that's okay. And I don't have any healing anymore, so I really do not want to take a hit. Especially in rooms with these enemies, they are really laggy, so I have a lot of trouble moving through them. As you can see, I move really slowly because it just lags too much. Be really careful with my movement there. Luckily I have a cloak, otherwise I would have put myself in a really weird spot. Cool. That's stage 5, one more stage of orbs and then we can continue on. So yeah, the real tough part about this stage is just the limited inventory space that you can have. So you don't, once you get into a troublesome situation, you don't have enough inventory space to have some backup items to help you through it. I want to be really careful around that guy. Cool. I do not want to take a hit of the lava dragon. I'm gonna use some steps in the other room to change the position of this guy. If I can go back, grab the chests. Cool. Orb is here. And the stairs. Nice. I'm gonna skip floor 4, because there's no orb here. Okay, cool. Do I have 3 orbs? Yeah, I have 3 orbs. Cool. We can continue on. Floor 6. Floor 6 is also a skip floor. Yeah. It's not in here. So this is the zombie. If you kill the zombie, it spreads fog of war across the room. But he's in front of where most likely would be my hidden wall. 6 is skip, right? Yeah, 6 is skip. So now we're on floor 7. I really want to go to the other sides. I have a candle. I can get the skeleton out of the way. Or not. If you could move. And candle to see if there's a chest here. There is, unfortunately. I'm gonna avoid that. Because I can use a cloak to get to the chest, but I would still get stuck there, and apparently I do not have to. So that's good. There's no stairs here. There's a hole here, but I really want to save my health. And I've explored quite a bit already, so there's not a lot of space where the staircase could be left. Floor 8 has an orb. Luckily, looks like I'm gonna use the antidote to make space. And then 9 is a small floor, right? Yeah. Almost all floor 9s are really small, so that's good. And then we should find the last orb somewhere on this floor. Not in here. I'm not gonna pick that up. needs to get out of that path if I want to cross. Yeah. Annoying room. Where am I? Here, okay. Oh, that's just there. The corner. Go back. Gets really laggy on the later floors. So even though I'm tapping like crazy, it just doesn't move faster. It's not in here either. It's all the way on the left. Ah, no! Lag. The backup is on 12. I need to get out of that room. That skeleton's gonna murder me. Heal. And I'm just gonna go down the hole. I do not want to explore the Fog of War rooms. Hopefully it's right in there. Yes. And here's the exit. Okay, cool. That was really unfortunate, spending so much time on floor 10 looking for it and then misstepping into the hole. But luckily we didn't die, so that's good. We didn't have to do all that progress over again. Because that would lose like at least 5 minutes to go back there. So this is the last cave system. The cave system is a special one because you get an extra item in this case. As you saw on the starting screen, I got a key. And the key is used to open a cage with a fairy in it. And that's the goal of this cave. You have to free X amount of fairies from the cage. So you need a key to open the cage, and the cages spawn on set floors, and every floor with a cage also has a key. So in this case, first fairy, floor 3, you start with a key, so you don't really have to look for a key, which is really convenient. From stage 3 onwards, you do not start with a key. So that's when it really starts. Actually, that's when it actually starts, I guess. The gimmick about this cave is also that you do not get any swords or shields apart from enemy drops. So you're not gonna become any more powerful than you are at the start. So enemies are gonna hit really hard. I forgot I started with key actually. Oops. So enemies are gonna hit you really hard in this game, in this cave. So you really have to be careful with your movements. Especially in the later fairy systems, when you have to go deeper, the enemies get tougher. You can get in really tough situations. I can skip floor 3. I'm not gonna look for the stairs. I already have a key, so I don't have to deal with that. I'm gonna be in the top right corner, right? Of course not. I need to deal with that. Yep, collecting a fairy actually gets rid of enemies in the room. It can also spawn on top of the staircase, as it happened here. And it also clears up a little bit of Fog of War. As you can see here, it clears up a small radius around it. I'm gonna go back here. Blow. Then we run around. So that can be useful. Sometimes you get into a single room where there is a fairy and a key. So, and there's usually a strong enemy in there that chases you, like the Skeleton Knight, for example. So when you can get to the cage and clear it, that's usually preferable to clear the enemy out of the way. I'm gonna let him move along. Floor 2, floor 4, and floor 5. The key early is good. I'm actually gonna choose to keep the key and move on. Because if I find the cage before the key, or get into a small room where there's a strong enemy and I have to find the key first, instead of going straight to the cage to kill the enemy, that can cause a lot of issues if you don't have a key there. So I'm opting, since I didn't find the cage, I'm just opting to move along. Where? Here. Floor 4 has a cage and key, so I'm gonna have to look for that. Nothing here. Ooh. Especially in Fog of War, it's really... Is it not floor 4? It is floor 4. Where is he? Did I miss a wall up here? No. Oh yeah, I skipped one. Never mind. I'm dumb. I'm not paying enough attention. I can deal with the poison. Don't need the help. Floor 5. Like in rooms like this, having a key entering the floor is just really nice. So you don't have to go back to get to the cage. There's also a small optimization you can do with opening the cages. So you do not want to open the cage from the top because it has a slightly longer animation. So you want to do it from the side or preferably from the bottom. So if I can do that, I'll definitely prefer to just move to the side of the cage or to the bottom. Let's see if the stairs spawn. Oh, hey. Stairs. Right under my feet. But yeah, fairies are like your only means to kill really strong enemies. Or like fireballs, I guess. There's a wall somewhere. I'm actually opting to not fall in the hole this early because the first stages are always small rooms. So I know the staircase is like in the next room over. There's the cage. Do not have a key. Staircase. There's the key. This cage is close by, so I'm actually not going back because the enemy is in front of it. And look, it already pays off. I can get rid of the strong enemy in this room that would hinder my movement and get the cage early. Yeah, floor 4, stage 4. So especially doing it at the start gets you in a really good cycle. I should just drop down. I do not want to explore the Fog of War rooms. Stage 5 has a fairy. Can make that not really. Especially on these enemies you cannot kill with a sword. So getting a fairy in that room, it's really nice to clear it out. And they lag the room also, so it's really good to just clear them out when you get a room like that. Opted to open it from the top. It's not that much of a time save to open it from the side. So if I have to... I'm gonna kill you because you're gonna hit me when I grab the key. So that's a random drop that I got from the skeleton. He can actually drop a sword of I have a key, right? I'll take a hit. So the skeleton can drop a sword, and that's the only way to get a sword or a shield in this cave system, because fairies do not have swords or shields in chests. Yes, the move, thank you. Getting a little bit of extra safety just to make sure I have some backup items in case something goes wrong. Here. Nice. It's also nice if the fairy spawns on the top side of the room, because he leaves the screen sooner, which is really up. Oh, nice. Which just saves time. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just RNG where the fairy spawns. So if it spawns on the top, it's perfect. It's really good. Stage 5. Stage 5 has a lot of dark room fairies, so that's gonna be fun to deal with. Okay. I'll kill you. Got a crit, so I get a one-shot. It's really nice. Staircase. Gonna actually look for the key, because the key is like the most important thing. I can skip cages, but I do not want to skip keys, because keys are basically the progression you need to clear the task in this cave. Also, you saw that cloud enemy. I'm not really worried about that cloud enemy, because he can't attack. He just blocks your path. That's all he does. You can kill him, not with your swords, but with a fire power up or anything. Okay, so I found the fairy, I found the stairs, and here is the key. I'm gonna kill him, because he's gonna hit me no matter what if I don't. Really careful moving around the lava. I do not want to fall in. Let's see, next floor is the dark floor. And I do not have a key, so hopefully we can get a good dark floor. There we go. Cage. That's the key. So it looks like just a one floor room. In the one floor room, actually, the fairy will always spawn on top of the stairs. So if you get a tough enemy and you have to look for the key in a dark room, that's gonna be really annoying to deal with. That's the... I'm opting to just move them around. That's not nice. Cool. I have a cloak. How do I do this? I think I have to bump the wall, right? Upwards. Yeah. There we go. So I manipulated the skeleton warrior's movement by bumping into the wall. By walking into the wall, you can trick enemies to move to trick that your position is different than where you actually are. Oh, that's not cool. So normally he would stay there in the corner if you keep walking side by side. And by bunking into the wall, I trick him to move to the right, so I still have that one gap distance between him and me, in order to grab the key and just book it without taking damage. You are annoying. Can I skip this floor? I think I can actually. I'm opting to just not, I guess. Keep some health. Stage 5. Yeah. So I did not skip a cage actually, so I could finish in here. Or go to the next floor. Both floors have a key. Have a cage and a key. I'm really careful with my movements. I'm just gonna go to the next floor. Fog of War is really tough. really interesting look this game is. Yeah, it's a really cool game actually. Especially for Game Boy, yeah. For the Game Boy era. It's a really nice game. Really solid actually. The gameplay is good. It just lags on some parts, but that's just because it's a Game Boy game, so it happens. But the gameplay is really good. This is on Game Boy? Yeah, exactly. It's on Game Boy. It's really impressive what they have managed to put into the game. So this is the final stage, Fairies 6. I have to free 6 fairies. No PB today. No. Unfortunately. It's just really tough, this game. There's a hidden wall somewhere. It's not here. In terms of PBs in this game, like my current PB is like the only PB that I had that was deathless. It's really tough with movement, staying sharp. It's just hard to keep the focus, make no movement mistakes, and not get screwed over by RNG. So yeah, that's just tells how tough this is. Oh, that's yeah, there is a hidden wall somewhere. Get out of my way, ghost. It's not in here. You're dead. Yeah, it's on the crossroads. So yeah, this is probably gonna take another 5 minutes-ish if it's a fast one. 5 to like 8 minutes. Just depends on the rooms that I'm gonna encounter. You are in the way of my key. Thank you. So yeah, another small room. Small rooms are really nice for fairy floors because you know you get a key, stairs, and the fairy in the same room. 5 is skip. Yeah, 5 is skip. Do not want to fight you. Thank you. I'm gonna take a hit. Keys are too valuable to leave behind. Okay, no hidden walls, looks like. I can't. I'd have to go either all the way back. What's the backup? I do not want to go for the backup. If I can prevent it. So I'm gonna walk around back to the other side. Because that enemy is like the most powerful enemy in the game. It has like 20 health, deals a lot of damage, and if you kill it, it drops coins on 4 tiles. So you get like 4 coin drops. Which in gold, the later stages is like a really good way to get coins. But in this case, I really do not want to fight that. It's awkward movement, but it's fine. I'm gonna heal up, just play it safe. Do not want to walk into an accidental hole or anything. Get some extra power-ups just in case. There is something there. Do I have a thing? No, there's nothing there. Okay. Floor 7 is not skip, right? Yeah, it's not skip. I'm gonna float this. Glad I got a cloak. I need to move to the other side. I'm not gonna make that, am I? Okay. Oh yeah. I have to fight this. He has 7 health, I believe. Cool. So I couldn't warp back there because that big monster was on the teleporter, and then I realized I really do not want to warp back because if he hits me, he hits really hard, and I'm gonna get stuck there anyway. I need some power-ups to help. Nothing in here. Cool. Fairy. So I have 2 HP, I still have to get 2 other fairies. Luckily they are in the next 2 floors, so that's good, and the last floor usually is a small floor. So if I can get... Where's the stairs? It's not in here, right? Not in here. So usually if I get a good... I don't know, I really do want to go there. Is there a hidden wall? No. So if I can get a good floor 8, then I should be in the clear. Nothing here. Is it on that one tile? Really, really game. I was really fast on that movement and I did not actually check if that enemy would hit me or not, because that could have been really scary. So I just need to find a key, preferably. Cool. Be really careful with my movement, so I do not take a hit. They can deal 2 damage, so I really do not want to go. There we go. So the portal is gonna spawn somewhere in this room, because this is a small room. So time is gonna come at the start of the credits, so it's gonna take a little while before you get there. We're first gonna get the cutscene, get the final medal, and then the credits are gonna start. So is it turn-based combat? Indeed, it's turn-based combat. Enemies move when you move, enemies attack after you attack, or if you move near them. So everything is turn-based, everything is controllable. And time is gonna be when I leave the screen. And when it fades to white, so it's gonna be... time. So yeah, that's 101 actually. That's a pretty good time. In my practice runs that I did like before in the previous week, I always took like a big death on like one of the later stages in orbs or fairies. So I'm glad that didn't happen this time. That's really good. So that's why it's actually pretty low time, pretty good time below estimates. So we're 13 minutes in front of estimate, which is really nice.
Nice, GG. Not a PB run, but a really fun game and a solid run. GG.
Yeah, it's really fun. So you can actually continue after this. There's more cave systems, like the later stages, the post game. So there's 4 extra caves, there's 3 extra stages which are like this with the same stat base, sort of, and there's a final stage where you get increased stats, so that's like sort of god mode basically. Not really at the start, but once you find swords and stuff, then you can really slaughter enemies left and right. But that's what the task is when you get there, that's like the ultimate for that cave.
Nice.
There's also a
Thanks so much.
leaderboard for that.
Oh,
There's also a leaderboard for that, but that's a really tough run with dealing with all the lag and stuff. I generally cannot handle that for 3 hours, 4 hours.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything final? I'll leave you with the last word, then we'll keep going.
I'd like to thank the mystery tournament, the mystery community, the blind community, because that's where we found this game. This was one of the weekly blinds that we did. There's an English patch for it, so that's actually more useful to get to know the game a little bit better. But yeah, that's awesome. That's how I found this. That's how I started running this game. So yeah, thank you to them, and thanks to you guys, to Rogue, to for organizing this, and of course the charity. Yeah, thank you to Able Gamers for supporting all the people with disabilities to help them play video games. So yeah, that's really awesome. So yeah, thank you, and thank you for having me.